part of the Indian Army Liberation Forces that entered Dhaka in December 1971. Describe for us what you saw then and how it shook you as a young lieutenant in the Indian Army.
I had just finished the mountain warfare course in Sonamarg in the first week of October. And we got to know that war clouds are just around the corner. We had to report to our unit. And by that time, my unit has concentrated around Tura, the Meghalaya eastern border, western border. And we are preparing ourselves for a likely operation which is to take place very shortly. We were training in the battlefield, on the border, along with the Mukti Bahini forces who had been trained. And the Mukti Bahini boys were so determined to liberate their nation. Because in the month of March, on 25th of March, when their prospective Prime Minister, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, his party came to power, and his party was to come to power in both East and West Pakistan, which was not acceptable to the West Pakistanis. They said they destroy these people. How can they ever hope to rule from Lahore and from various other places in Pakistan? They were subjected to such atrocities of throwing away their houses, killing their people, young people, and just killing for the sake of it. And these were the stories we got to know. Mukti Bahini was determined to liberate their nation. They said, we will go along, we'll give you complete help. And that's how we, together as a buddy teams, we started our work, we started our objectives, we started our planning. And then came the sudden surprise that on 3rd of December 1971, that the Pakistani Air Force launched an airstrike on our airfields in the western sector. The tide was set, everything was ready, and all we had to do was go across the border. That's the time instructions came in that we have to liberate Bangladesh. And off we went. Along with Mukti Bahini was a tremendous buddy team, warriors who showed us where the Pakistanis are concentrated, where the crossing places in the rivers. Over 10 million refugees had come across into Bangladesh, into West Bengal and Tripura, and this side into Assam, and all places there were refugee camps. We used to go and give them some help and whatever things was required for them to do, for their day-to-day living. But they had to go back. They had to go back where there is safety. There is safety, and they can live a normal life like normal citizens.
Right. Brigadier Ponwar, you entered Jamalpur. Which was the first Pakistan Army defended city that you entered? Was it Jamalpur?
As we entered, the first defended city was Bakshiganj.
Right.
Kamalpur we bypassed on 3rd, 4th December, and Kamalpur fellow surrendered. He was a good fighter. We had launched several attacks on him, the battalion attacks on the Kamalpur BOP, but they fought well. But as soon as they were bypassed from all, there was no barbed wire or no defenses along the border. We could cross from anywhere, just boundary pillars saying India and Pakistan. So we crossed from there, and then we decided that we'll surround Bakshiganj and reduce Bakshiganj. Bakshiganj had about 150 odd Pakistanis and Razakars. However, as I just mentioned, the Major Ayub, their company commander, got killed in a pre-artillery battle. As such, with no leader, the entire company was asked to fall back to Jamalpur, which was another 20 kilometers away. So in Jamalpur, on the night of 9th, 10th December and 10th, 11th December, there were almost 1,500 Pakistanis, Razakars, and all villagers had left the town. Only their battalion commander, Colonel Sultan Ahmed, was there to hold the town of Jamalpur. But then what happened? In the eastern and western sectors, by 10th, 11th December, larger forces were closing in onto Dhaka. The 7th Fleet was also coming in from the Bay of Bengal side. So we were in a hurry. We got instructions that we have to reach Dhaka soonest. We have to liberate the nation soonest. And we were in the north. And we were in a place where we could go straight to Dhaka without any obstacles after we have across the Brahmaputra.
Did you witness these instances of genocide, the ethnic cleansing that the Pakistani military had done firsthand? Describe for us what you saw.
Yeah, I saw a lot of villages evacuated, villages burned down, villages, dead bodies lying around in a number of places as we were approaching. And then when we reached Jamalpur, because we were first concentrating on the military part of it to reduce the Pakistani threat. In the first 48 hours, in any case, the airstrikes by our Indian Air Force had done them good, and they could no more fly their aircrafts, and all their aircrafts were grounded. So there was no enemy air. We could walk around in the daytime anywhere, and there was just no problem.
Yeah, Brigadier Ponwar, I'm just going to go to Saleem Samad, who's listening very patiently, for his views on the 16th of December. Mr. Samad, 16th December is a momentous day for both India and Bangladesh. It's Vijay Diwas, it's Liberation Day, it's the creation of Bangladesh. And as we were discussing earlier, it's been 75 years since the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. Now, the end of the Liberation War, the creation of Bangladesh, and half a century later, it's still to be declared a genocide. You know, the kind of horrific war crimes that Brigadier Ponwar has witnessed firsthand. How does this impact Bangladesh today? Is it still a huge discussion point? The fact that over 1 million of your citizens were killed, and even half a century later, it's still not being recognized as a genocide.
Thank you. First of all, yes, it is true that this is still being discussed. Media often reports, and the talk shows they discuss. But unfortunately, the international organizations like the United Nations have not recognized Bangladesh genocide as a war crime. So that is another major hurdle that has to be overcome. Secondly, that for example, like the Armenian genocide, you must understand.
Yes,
that
almost 100 years ago.
Yes, almost 100 years. So
yeah.
it may take another 100 years to get the attention of the international bodies.
Right.
So it is not only the United Nations, but of course the United Nations, even the Security Council, most of the Security
yes.
Council members in the 1971 war had opposed Bangladesh independence. They literally supported Pakistan.
Yes.
So obviously, if you talk about China, you talk about any other countries, that is a major hurdle for getting the three things, the issue of genocide, to the international body.
Right.
Even if we are not talking about the international body, European Union has started discussion. The European Parliament has recently started discussion.
Yes.
They have held a seminar within themselves and did a probe. A probe committee came to Bangladesh only recently. So things have started rolling. I will not blame that everybody is not recognizing. Yes, everybody knows. If I talk about the United States, you talk about Canada, you talk any West countries, they are aware of the genocide. And of course, the media in that country, of course, there is the issue that why Bangladesh genocide has not been recognized. It is not in the one word called genocide. So there was a 500,000 women were victims of rape as
That's
a weapon
correct.
of war.
It's one of the largest such instances post the Second World War.
Secondly, yes, it has already been mentioned that the world's largest war has just been created in 1971.
Yes.
World's largest since the Second World War.
Right.
And that has, India was, of course, had given shelter
yes.
to this 1 million people. Otherwise, I don't know, they would have also perished.
Right.
And are now new researches recently that on the way to the border, means the refugees who are living back to their home and to reach one of the nearest border. There were several incidents. At least we have found 60 sites where genocide was committed.
Yes.
Because it was easily understood that they were crossing the border. Obviously, there is no question asked. They were just slaughtered. So that's one of the reasons Bangladesh has, for the first time, possibly in South Asia, I'm not sure about other countries, have a genocide museum, which is formally going to be, has already started.
Yes.
Soft blocks, but it's going to be, they have now a building in Khulna, where most of the genocide had occurred.
News9 Plus. Download now.